Boondocks characters based on real people. For this video, I'm only including parodies and not direct representations like Sway and Exhibit. If you don't know about the Boondocks, it was an animated show created by Aaron McGruder that aired on Adult Swim for 3 seasons from 2005 to 2010. There was a 4th season where the original creator, Aaron McGruder, was excluded from the creative process. I don't really count it as a part of the series, it's pretty much fan fiction. All of the people I'm about to talk about are worthy of their own video, but in true full circle fashion, I will squeeze it all into one. Starting with Latarian Milton, the 7-year-old boy who stole his grandma's Dodge Durango and took a joyride to Walmart. Latarian was mad that his mom didn't let him hang out with his friend, so he stole his grandma's car, and at that age you barely know how to read, probably stand at like 4 feet tall. Some 7-year-olds can't even ride bikes. Imagine one behind the wheel.
Back door, I looked on the counter, my keys were gone.
And I saw my keys were gone. And I thought, oh.
I took my grandma car because I got mad at my mom, and then I saw and had my friend come in, and he smokes with cigarettes.
Where you going? I went and drove and picked up my friend, and he smokes with cigarettes.
I want to do it because it's fun. It's fun to do bad things.
Exactly did you steal your grandmother's car?
Because it's fun. It's fun to do bad things.
Yes, but I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
I don't care nothing about those people. I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friends.
This went exactly how you'd imagine. He ran over 2 mailboxes, hit 2 parked cars, and hit 2 moving cars. That fool just kept going after hitting things like it's a video game. He only stopped when he hit a curb and the wheels popped off the car. I guess he went to some sort of juvenile detention for a day. You can't really detain little kids, so they sent him back to his legal guardians. A local news station decided to interview him. It was hilarious. He started talking about how it's fun to do bad things. He wants to smoke with cigarettes and do hood rat things with his friends. A few weeks later, he'd get in trouble for beating up his grandma at Walmart after she refused to buy him chicken strips. The Boondocks would represent this character as LaMilton to Sean. It couldn't be any more direct, showing a white SUV with the wheels popping off. The news interview is pretty much the same as in real life. The chicken incident was referenced too. He's shown as loving the media attention he gets, and his grandma is seen as someone who doesn't know how to discipline him. LaMilton and Riley do bad stuff together. Riley starts to get scared. LaMilton's former therapist tells the granddad that he's evil and needs to be locked up or killed. Milton forces Riley to hang out with him, then he shoots a dog. The therapist rats him out, and LaMilton goes to jail. He gets out assuming Riley was the one who ratted. LaMilton shows up at his school, and the two of them end up fighting on the roof. It's similar to the movie Juice when Tupac tries to kill Q and ends up falling off the roof while Q is trying to help him back up. Then as Q walks back inside, somebody says, "You got the juice," and it shows Q's face with a blank expression, and then the credits roll. The difference is the therapist pushes LaMilton out of Riley's arm. Then when Riley walks back inside, another kid says, "Hey, you got a cigarette." It shows Riley's face with a blank expression, and then the credits roll. I just made the connection to Juice while making this video. After this episode aired, Latarian would be seen on the news graduating from middle school. They portrayed him as a good kid who changed his ways. Graduation ceremonies for middle school are pretty stupid. Latarian would later call up a Lyft with a few of his friends. They pistol whipped the driver's head, took his jacket, his wallet, then stole his car. He would have gotten away with it, except the Lyft driver was able to track down Latarian because he was the one who called the Lyft. This kid is a dumbass. He's currently in prison, and I'm sure when he gets out, he'll have no trouble finding a job with his middle school diploma.
But we have sexual desires, right? So you got a bunch of men locked up in one place. All of them get hard. All of them's horny, all of them got sexual desires, so what are they gonna do? If you won't let them have a woman, they gonna have each of somebody's gonna have to give us some booty. And it's just that simple. In this prison, booty was more important than food.
You go to prison, the most important thing in your life is going to be booty.
Booty, a man's butt.
Better listen to a man's butt.
It was more, I'm serious. It was more booty, having some booty, was more important than drinking water, man.
Booty, getting some booty is more important than eating food. It's more important than drinking water.
As I'm telling you what, I like you, and I want you.
I like you, and I want you.
And we can do it the easy way or the hard way.
Now, we can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way.
So the choice is yours, right?
The choice is yours. What's it gonna be?
The Booty Warrior is a character based on a homosexual prison inmate and a serial rapist named Fleece Johnson. Fleece had been interviewed detailing his passion for raping his fellow male inmates. On the Boondocks, he was arrested for raping Chris Hansen. One of the main characters, Tom, has a phobia of prison rape, but after seeking therapy, he decided to chaperone some troubled school children to show them what prison is really like. It's like one of those scared straight things. The prisoners remind the children that they've all participated in prison rape, and then they start using Tom as an example of the type of person they'd rape in prison.
Oh, that means, don't you? Tom, you get raped.
The prisoners get Tom to strip almost naked, and the Booty Warrior uses his famous catchphrase. Tom uses a self-defense technique to escape, and a prison riot breaks out. Tom runs away, and the Booty Warrior attempts to find him so he can rape him. The two of them fight, Tom wins, the hostages escape, and the episode pretty much ends there.
Well kept secret at the time who Johnny Rebel actually was.
Yeah, I didn't go around advertising. We didn't go talk about that a whole lot. All my close friends knew, musicians knew, and stuff like that. But as far as trying to get it out to the general public, like a big secret, a family secret.
Yeah, well, you
Johnny Rebel. Johnny was a struggling country singer in the 1960s, professionally recording 4 songs that never saw commercial success. Rebel would work a regular job until he was approached by a segregationist label that wanted him to record racist music. It was as over the top as you can imagine. No record stores wanted to carry his album, it was never played on the radio, and he claims to have only performed his music once. His records were considered an underground trade. Bar owners would play it on jukeboxes, then sell it to customers. Johnny retired from racist music after 1 album and started performing under a different name. Decades later, his music would be uploaded on the internet, and he gained a cult following in the early 2000s, even appearing on The Howard Stern Show. Before he died, Johnny claimed that he only made that type of music for money. The Boondocks portrayed him as someone who has had a successful, long career, while the real Rebel hid his identity. This Rebel performs openly to a cheering crowd. I think the exaggeration of his legacy is pretty clever. It's meant to be shocking. Like in the previous episode, Aaron Magruder reminds us that prison rape is a real thing. This episode shows that there is an audience for hate music. Uncle Ruckus loves his music and records his own racist song to send to racist records. Jimmy ends up getting along with Ruckus, makes a song with them, and when it's performed, they end up getting booed. This episode was banned from HBO Max. It's kind of interesting because Key and Peele did a similar bit years later. Let me know what you guys think. Ed Wuncler III. It's not transparent, but people speculate he's based off of George W. Bush. It's speculated because he wears a big chain that says W. He failed to find weapons of mass destruction. And his grandfather, Ed Wuncler Sr., says one day that kid's gonna be president, and he'll still be stupid.
In 30 years, that boy will be the president of the United States. And he'll still be a fucking idiot.
Ed Wuncler is a troublemaker who would be in jail if he wasn't groomed to become president. George Bush was an alcoholic in his younger years who got into shenanigans.
We was looking for weapons of mass destruction.
Did you ever find them?
It appears that there were not weapons of mass destruction there.
No goddamn well we ain't find them. What are you, some kind of political humorist?
There's that something hasn't happened are always interesting to me because, as we know, there are known knowns. There are things we know.
Saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns.
We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are some things we do not know.
Also unknown unknowns. Things we don't know that we don't know.
But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't know.
Now, Gin Rummy is supposed to be based off Donald Rumsfeld. They look alike. They both have rum in their names. Rumsfeld believed there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and when confronted about lack of evidence, he said, "We know there are things that we don't know. There are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't know." Now, Gin Rummy gets confronted by Riley about whether or not they found weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, to which Gin Rummy aggressively tells Riley there are unknown unknowns. I gotta add a little bit of context for this next one. Al Sharpton was upset about a Boondocks episode where Martin Luther King uses vulgar language and demanded an apology from Cartoon Network. Aaron made a comic strip depicting an activist getting mad at a cartoon instead of more relevant issues. And in the episode The Block is Hot, Huey is heard listening to a radio station where the broadcaster references Al Sharpton being mad about a cartoon. Rollo Goodlove is mainly based on Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. He's a low-level presidential candidate with the sitcom on BET. Jesse Jackson tried to run for president, and Al Sharpton has had shows before. This character uses activism just to get on TV, very similar to Al Sharpton. Rollo isn't all bad though. Sometimes his activism aligns with Huey's. Rollo would argue with Ann Coulter about whether or not teachers should use the N-word. It's later revealed that Rollo and Ann are actually friends. They're both exploiting this incident for media exposure. Kinda like professional wrestlers, you're supposed to think they hate each other, but they're actually friends behind the scenes. They're arguing because a teacher called Riley the N-word, which is also based off a real incident.
And what did he say specifically to you?
Sit down, nigga.
To you. He said, sit down, nigga.
Down. And the teacher says that Keyshawn used the N-word first.
And I just kind of was stunned a second. Well, then get away from the door, nigga.
Well, sit down, nigga.
And I repeated the same insult because that's sort of what I've been trained to do.
I just repeated the insult back to him because that's what I've been trained to do.
I can't even. It's pretty self-explanatory. This teacher got in trouble for calling a student the N-word, but he thought it was okay because he didn't use the hard R. Apparently, he thought he was relating to the students by speaking like that, even saying he was trained to speak to his students how they speak to him. Finally, we have Winston Jerome. He's a successful playwright who likes to dress as a woman. Jerome claims that Jesus told him to cross-dress and put sexy dudes in his movies. At the end of the episode, he tries to have sex with Granddad. This character is based off Tyler Perry, who also got this episode banned from a few platforms. The typical Winston Jerome movie portrayed in this episode is actually the plot for Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Now, Tyler does cross-dress and seems to have an appreciation for men. It's speculated that Tyler Perry is secretly gay, and he's afraid that if he comes out, then it'll ruin his career, similar to John Travolta. This portrayal, in my opinion, is the harshest because, yeah, Tyler Perry is a goofy dude, but he's mostly harmless. Okay, that's about it. Shout out to the Patreons, Stetson Every Day and Marks KM. I will try to upload some exclusive content for you guys shortly. I'm out.